to be talking about the truth. Now you might wonder, why did I choose a topic like the truth? Who knows what the truth is? Let me explain. Catching all of the politicians speaking about what they believe is the truth and then trying to sort it out made me wonder what the truth was. I'm very skeptical of the propaganda pushed out by politicians because I heard a comment and I wondered if it was true, so I searched it out. It's okay to lie to the public, but you must not lie in court or in Congress or in Senate. It's okay to lie to the public? Why? God. No wonder many people have said, well, that's a politician. He speaks with a forked tongue or out of both sides of his mouth. Yes, tell the truth. Is there an absolute truth? Has there ever been an absolute truth? Every religious leader obviously believes that they are telling the truth. But how can you define the truth about a religion? You can define your choice, and I believe everybody should be free to choose their religion. I can't force anybody. I don't believe that anybody should be forced to believe a certain religion. Although that was part of the expansion of the Muslim world when people were forced to believe the Muslim way of life. That was also true about Christianity in certain parts of its history. So, as far as I'm concerned, religion is a difficult, trouble subject to talk about the truth. So, let's look at truth. What is it? My truth, where I say this is the truth. Well, is it? Or is it a combination of my opinions, my attitudes, my assumptions, my background, my gender? They all make up when I say this is my truth. Well, my truth doesn't mean that it's the truth or the whole truth. And of course, you have scientists, when you ask them to tell them, or you tell us, what's the truth about this? And they'll say something like this: given what I know now, this is what I believe about this. They're very much into current reality because it's their experience that we thought at one time that the sun moved around the earth, and then it was revealed, in fact, that the earth moves around the sun, and then space exploration really proved scientifically that we fly around the sun and that the sun is round and that the earth is round. But there are a whole group of people in society who believe that the earth is flat and that we are under some sort of social hypnosis, believing that the earth is round. Truth. The truth. My truth. Someone else's truth. This is such a difficult topic to talk about and to think about. I am so curious about people's personal truth, and I do define it that way. Except when I'm talking to the family doctor, I will actually trace him, get him to explain what he believes the truth is. And some of the mystique of the medical profession has been challenged by access to Google and research and search engines. It can be quite confusing, this world, when everything is phrased as the truth rather than this is what I know now. Yes, the truth. My truth. Your truth. A description of the politicians have always been a man who speaks with forked tongue, or he speaks out of both sides of his mouth. Their truth is more like propaganda, which looks like truth, but is in fact being researched and distorted to make you believe that you're listening to your truth, or someone who speaks your truth. Think about that for a moment. You know, I research you to manipulate you to vote for me because I know how you think or what you feel is the truth. So whether I like it or not, or whether it is the truth, I speak that to you. Watching the difficult political scene in the United States with this is my truth, this is my point of view, this is this, it can really kind of turn a man grey, or a woman grey, or even a child grey. It's just not the truth. So a scientist will always say, this is what I currently know, or this is what research currently knows. In propaganda, for example, you'll see, and what I mean by propaganda is marketing. Really, a lot of marketing is just pure propaganda. Let's say hot dogs, right? It's coming to the end of the summer. We're not going to be eating too many hot dogs anymore. But what if I could say to you, I know 9 out of 10 people who eat hot dogs hate hot dogs. You could say, well, that's not true. It's just not true. But it is. I did a survey. But you see, a survey is merely a tool of demonstrating an idea. It's not the truth. If I take 10 men and I recruit them very carefully and know by the interview process that 9 out of the 10 men hate hot dogs, when I ask them to fill out a form and give them various foods and rate it, and in that food is hot dogs. So they rate it, and I can interpret the fact that 9 out of 10 men put it at the bottom of the list. I can say 9 out of 10 men, it's the bottom. They don't like hot dogs. Because the sample base, i.e. 10 versus 100 unselected, not pre-done, will do it. They will give a different result. The truth. It can be distorted in so many ways. It can be distorted by your own perceptions about the person standing in front of you. If you see a black person, if you see an Asian person, or you see a white person, which will you choose as more truthful? If you're white, you might go, well, the white person tells the truth. Of course, if you're yellow or Asian or brown, you might say, well, the Asian tell the truth. And if you're black, you'll say, well, maybe most black people tell the truth. It's so difficult to get out of our own filter, our own bubble of our own experience. Because of the way I've grown up, I build a window that I look out on the world in, and I am influenced from the moment that I am born, right from 0 to 10, I'm using all the references that my parents give me. So if my parents are racist, they will tell me their truth, and as a child with no experience, I will accept it as being the truth, and if I never really challenge it, it will become my personal truth, that you can't trust black people. Now, reverse in the sense that if I'm a black child growing up in a black home, they might say to me, out of wanting to keep me safe, be careful of those police officers. They're black, you see the badge, they're blue serge, they'll be after you. You get away from them because they will shoot you. So depending on our cultural independence, that becomes our truth. If I'm black, I might say, police officers are not to be trusted. They kill black people. Well, based upon results, that's actually true, because they kill more black people and brown people than they do white people in the course of their action as a police officer. So if you hear a politician say, defund the police, chances are he's speaking to a certain segment of his political spectrum. The truth, it's so hard to get a handle on the truth. In fact, I used to watch a show called Lie to Me, which was based on the work of a professor. And it was fascinating watching this character discern what the truth was by micro behavior, facial expression, body expression, timbre of voice. Most of us know, for example, what bullshit is. We have pretty good bullshit meters. Or particularly if it is somebody that we know, we've already unconsciously set up the parameters in our brain where we would go, come on, that's bullshit. But in large groups, that's difficult to do. And if it is a person that has got a renowned reputation, they can persuade you an odd idea is the truth. Anyway, I digress. My truth. What and how do you know what is your truth? Have you had an examined life? It's very difficult to escape the idea that what is true in one age is so different in another. As you grow up, I remember an odd story about the age of people and how they will behave. And it was a story about a 5-year-old hiding broccoli in a glass of milk. Well, seemed like a good idea to the 5-year-old, of course, until he drank his milk and it was revealed that there was broccoli in his head. So at different ages, we're prepared to deal with the truth. At 16, a deeply infused hormonal crush on someone in your school or in your class or your next door neighbor, you feel like you're in love, but you have no experience of what true love is. So it is true, but it isn't true. It's so difficult, this topic of truth. And the reason I'm talking about it is that we make so many decisions on what we believe is the truth. We read customer service surveys or which is the best. I found myself searching and looking at new computers. So I asked which is the best for this price, and up popped on Google about 5 different professed experts, and they all rated things slightly differently, looking at different pieces to the point where I was going, well, okay, so it seems to be a consensus that these 3 are pretty good, but nobody's absolutely sure which is the best. Because all I want is the truth. Which is the best? When I go to buy a car, or if I go to buy a car, I used to be extremely wary. For ages, I got to know the person that I went to buy cars from. He, I believed, was very truthful with me. I didn't make the assumption that he was truthful with everyone, but because I had bought cars with him for 12 years, traded them in and moved them around, put them on different leases, I just knew he was telling me the truth. And then he retired, and I brought my car in ready to trade in because the lease was up. And I got talking to this young man, and he said to me, "Well, you're getting ready to retire. You don't." And he immediately brought me to this sort of sedate little pug of a car. I went, "No, really? Is that what you think I want? Is that what you're recommending?" And instead of backing off and asking me questions of what my personal truth was about the car I want or finding out who I was, he said, "Yes, this is perfect for a retiree." Well, guess what? Didn't buy it, left the store. I sent it back in, I got my deposits back, and bought a different car completely. Truth. One of the things is that when I look at something now, when I look at people now, I ask myself, what is their truth? So in other words, I want to know what's helped make them, what's evolved them in their life. Why do they have these feelings, or what do they have these feelings? Why have they always thought this way? I watched on a TV supplier, what do I want to say? I watched it on Amazon Video. It's a movie called Flashback. It's French. And it's a story of a woman who gets flashed back through different ages as a woman. And it's kind of curious because I was shocked what she was discovering, and she was shocked, and that was the whole point of the movie, until she undoes a wrong that she had done. I thought that I understood the parts of the feminine mystique, but based upon this movie and the way that women have been slaves, chattel, property, not treated as individuals, not given the same rights as men, I was quite shocked how historically awful it was. So in a moment, in an hour or so, my perspective of the feminine journey changed completely. No, not one woman, but time, history. They use Winston Churchill. Those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. Well, this is about her being female characters in the past in different societies moving forward. Have you ever had moments like that where in a fraction of a second you've changed? Or you look at something and go, "Well, what's this?" And when you examine it, you go, "Oh, it's not what I thought it is." I think being curious, and I am curious, is the most powerful survival tool that human beings have ever had. And be curious about people and their truth and their perhaps lack of truth, and sometimes their obvious truth. Political ramifications are getting rather large around the world. It seems to me that some people have discovered that they can lie with almost impunity. Historically, that is not true, but how do I prove it? At one time, Adolf Hitler stood on a podium and promised the German people the world. Parts of the world, the whole world, that they were the superior race. He was going to fix things for them. Was it the truth? No. It was propaganda dressed up as truth. And in this age of marketing, propaganda, and lies, having an ability to discern the truth, I think, has become very important. History, as the Churchill reference goes, if you don't learn from the past, you're going to do it again. You're going to mess up. So history books are great because you can look at where civilizations, where individuals, where people have literally taken a good life and turned it upside down. Two of my favorite things is the truth is I have many favorite things, right the way from chocolate ice cream to Japanese and Zen philosophy. So let's just talk about historical novels and historical books. I like them. I like reading them because my curiosity is aroused. So that is why that makes some sense, or it doesn't make any sense. I was watching a travelogue where the English traveler was standing the bridge over River Kwai and was going on about how brutal these prisoners were treated. And in a way, I know that that is the truth by Western standards. However, what I also know from reading, that is not true by Asian or Japanese standards. At that time in 1935, 1940, 1945, the truth was that if you surrendered, the Japanese thought you were less than a servant, not a human being, because you surrendered. That was their psychological and cultural base. So if they thought you were less than a human being, less than a slave, they would work you really hard because you had no value to them. Odd truth, Their truth versus our truth. It was a Roman who said, the victor gets to write history. Individuals write their own history. Memory is very poor. We reinvent and re-talk about what occurred. Maybe we get new insights and we sort of guss it up. We make ourselves look better. So even as I work to tell you the truth, maybe I'm not telling you the truth. Do you know? Be curious. You can send me an email at geo@mycuriousmind.com. I would love to know what you think about the truth. Take care. Lots of love. Jeffrey.